Oh no, oh no. Every time you see him in this room, you know there's a problem with the tank. Well, there is, but I don't give a fuck. Let's move right into it. So, I'm going to say my little intro. What's up, FishTankTV.com? What's up, YouTube? I'll come at you today with a very, very different aspect of this tank. This tank has been giving me nothing but problems, and I'm understanding why. Excuse me, I'm getting over my cold. I've been fearing the deep sand bed. There's so many ways to get rid of nitrate. I could go high-tech with a denitrator and stuff, and there's many other ways. In freshwater, there are actually products which are called denitrators. In saltwater world, there is too, but I just don't trust them. And then you just have to keep buying them if they do work, and it's just more money down the drain. So get this. In freshwater, denitrators are excellent and they do work, but they're not good for plant tanks because plants need nitrates. If you heavy stock your tank with plants, we all know that the plants will eat the nitrates up. So I'm relating the deep sand bed to my plants. Deep sand beds are going to do the job of my plants. I'm going to love my deep sand bed like I love my plants. I stock my plants for two reasons. It looks damn good, and they take care of my fish for me. I don't have to do a lot of stuff, and I can neglect those tanks because the plants will take care of them. Now, let me move into this. With this saltwater world, it's always a double-edged sword. There's always an if. There's no sure answer. There's so many different routes. You could put one thing in this tank and one thing in this tank, have it going up exactly the same way, and it could totally end up different. Now let's move into the deep sand bed. Why am I getting deep sand bed? Because I'm tired of nitrates. I want to start stocking this tank with coral. I want this tank to look amazing. Now, deep sand bed. A lot of people, Shane, I hope you're watching because I'm going to give you some advice on that sand bed. A lot of people don't know that I'm very knowledgeable in saltwater, and I'm about to prove myself with this video. Okay, deep sand bed. Deep sand bed, I feared it because of dead spots, sulfuric acid, and it can harbor detritus, and it's not good. And detritus decays, and all it leads to is nitrates. Well, let me get something straight. In your first inch of sand bed, you've got this bacteria which is aerobic, which needs air, which gets rid of your ammonia and breaks that down to nitrite, and that nitrite gets broken down to nitrate. Here's the problem. Nitrate needs to be turned into a gas, and the only way to do that is get an anaerobic bacteria. There are a couple different ways to do it. Inside your live rock, if your live rock is thick enough, if it's deep enough, it could have some anaerobic bacteria if it's porous enough and thick enough in your sand bed. It needs to be deep enough. You can't get away with, sometimes 3 inches works, sometimes 3 inches doesn't work. It all depends on the granule size of your sand bed. The finer the sand, the better. Sugar fine's the best, but sugar fine's going to get torn up and it's just going to cloud up the tank. A little bit bigger than sugar fine sand is the best way to go. Shane, this is where I hope you're watching. Crushed coral. Crushed coral is the worst thing you could have in a saltwater tank, in my opinion. It's a farm for nitrate, and I should know all about that, right, guys? It's a farm for nitrate. It holds little areas where detritus can form, which you can't get out even if you siphon it. And simply, it just farms it. And if you do a deep sand in crushed coral, you're screwing yourself over, because a deep sand bed it won't work for crushed coral. It's going to get rid of ammonia and it's going to get rid of nitrate, same as the first inch of your sand bed, but it will not remove nitrate with an A. It simply won't, because it's getting air. That air is seeking through the porousness of your sand bed, kind of like live rock. You need to get, the sand bed needs to be deep because air cannot penetrate. Where there is oxygen, the deep sand bed will not work. Simple as that. It just doesn't get any simpler than that. Down below where the air does not form, there is an anaerobic bacteria. I mean, it does not need air. That forms, and it relies only on nitrates, and it lives only on nitrates. But the deep sand bed is a double-edged sword. You need critters in your sand bed. I love how that thing eats. You need critters in your deep sand bed. If there are not critters in your deep sand bed that stir the sand bed for you, you're going to lead into sulfuric acid, and you're going to lead into dead spots. And the reason for that is, what happens is the critters turn the sand bed around, and what they do is they basically move around in it, and when they move in the sand, the nitrogen gas can escape. But if it doesn't escape, you're going to lead into some serious problems. Not to mention, these critters will eat any kind of detritus or anything inside your sand bed. I did a big mistake by removing that sand. I'm going to go back to sand, and I'm going to go back with more sand. Deep sand beds are not going to work if you've got 2 inches, 1 inch, 1.5, sometimes 3, sometimes 3.5. But 4 inches to 6 inches is what you want. I'm going to go with the 4-inch sand bed. At first I thought that was a problem, but it is going to lead me with less swimming room for the fish. But since these fish do not get too big, I really don't care. Live rock is going to get pushed higher to the light. That means I can take care of SPS, clams, and anemones without having insane metal halides. I'm actually going to prove myself. Corals are not that hard to take care of. They are compared to plants. There are plants are down here, Asian plants are up here, corals, they're all the way up there. They're nothing like plants, and then again they are. But corals is a different subject. But once we get this nitrate problem underway, I'm immediately going to start stocking coral. If you do decide to get a saltwater tank and you go to deep sand bed, you need to ask yourself, why are you getting deep sand bed? Are you getting it because everybody else is getting it, or are you getting it because you have a nitrate problem? I have a nitrate problem, and I want to keep it low tech. Thus, I should get a deep sand bed. This is the only way to do it, keeping it low tech. Well, there is another way, but I don't want to get into that because it costs too much money. But this is the only reasonable way to do it without spending an arm and a leg. And here we go. The video's kind of getting long, so I'm going to end it soon. Instead of using live sand, I'm going to get some very, very fine not porous, God, no, I don't want that. I want to get some very fine aragonite sand. You don't want silicate, because you don't want silicate in your tank, period. And you don't want crushed coral, because it's going to lead to detritus. And it's going to house detritus, and it's just going to build up detritus. So the video is kind of getting long, guys. I'm really happy about this. If this nitrate thing works, the deep sand bed, which I think it will, we're definitely going to do the 55 with the deep sand bed, and we're going to stock it with more fish. But here's the thing, deep sand bed, when they're new, you don't want to disturb them at all, because if you disturb them, you're going to lose that life that is accumulating that you need. And you don't ever want to siphon a deep sand bed. You don't even want to touch it. When a deep sand bed is 6 months to a year, then you can start probing it. That did not sound right. You can start probing it, and you can move it around, and what you'll see is nitrogen bubbles flowing up, and that's the gas flowing up. And if you don't get rid of that, that could lead to sulfuric acid, dead spots. Sulfuric acid can wreck your system in an instant. You just don't want it. There's a shrimp chilling out over there. So that's what's up, guys. This tank going deep sand bed. Actually, this weekend, I'm fucking tired of it. We're gonna start this deep sand bed as soon as possible. Tomorrow is Friday, so in 2 days, Saturday, I'm going to Lowe's. I am going to get my aragonite sand. I've done it before, my 29 gallon. I don't know why I didn't do it here. Not a deep sand bed, but the sand itself. And I know it's safe for fish. I know a lot of other people have used it. So comment, rate, subscribe. If you have any questions to saltwater or freshwater, let me know. Also check out fishtanktv.com. Also, I'm getting more subscribers. Welcome, subscribers. If you need any help with anything, saltwater, fresh, coral, reef, plants, pond, whatever, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you out. And also, I think I said it, but check out fishtanktv.com. Later.